So by 2050, we need cities for 3 billion more people. Right now we only have 3 billion and we need cities for 3 billion more people. So it's just doubling the global urban population. And few people understand that this is the biggest force working on Earth today, the biggest force. All these bright dots in the world is a city, and they are going to be double in size and grow twice in just 25 years. So it's the biggest movement on Earth, and as professionals, we have to make sure that we do it in a sustainable way. We direct these people, settlements and all in a sustainable way. Unless we do that, there's a problem. So we need cities for 3 billion people, and we have to get it right. So unless we get it right, so if we are not going to get it right, all these climate solutions we are talking about, we have the green building chairman here, all those solutions we are talking about are not going to save the planet. So this is the most important thing. What will happen? We will have 1,000 times more pressure. If this is a concrete building, these foundations are going to have 1,000 times more pressure. So what happens? These things collapse. So we can't construct such buildings. I think you have played with these glass balls when you are small. When you drop it on a cement floor, it it bounces up. What will happen if you drop this kind of a glass ball? It smashes into pieces. Why? Just because it is big. So this we can see even in nature. So when you look at an elephant like this, it has such a huge legs, and a deer doesn't need that kind of legs just because the deer is little small. And if you take an ant like this, it has this tiny little feet. So if you scale this ant to the size of an elephant, if you make this an elephant, this elephant will never be able to get up this tiny little flimsy legs. Right. So therefore, designing tall is not easy. It's a difficult thing. Okay. So the reason is tall buildings. When we are talking about tall buildings, we are working at the threshold of collapse. That's the important thing we have to notice. And I think we have Professor Ranjit here. He's have to go back, isn't it? He's the king of biomimicry, isn't it? So your students come to me and then say, why don't you design buildings like this, tall buildings like this? It has a lot of views, lot of social interaction, everything if you design a building like this. Now you know why we can't build tall buildings like this. They collapse. So I like to design this kind of a building. This is a stone I have seen in Savannah. So we can't design buildings like this. It's difficult. So if I were an ant, I would have designed a tall building like this. But at this scale, it collapses. And I love to design buildings like this tall building. It will be very fantastic, but we can't design buildings like that. They collapse. So architect Ransafiano says, architects spend their entire lifetime with this unreasonable idea that you can fight against gravity. So people who know that, they don't go to do that. Because breaking this pressure barrier is possible. So for example, now today we are bringing Professor Priyan Mendis, who is an expert on that, who is a world eminent scientist who has discovered high strength concrete to design foundations of tall buildings, and he has contributed to do many world class buildings. So that's why I just pointed out this. So that's the physical limitation of designing buildings, the physics limitation. So clever people like Professor can handle that a little bit. But the thing is, that's not the real limitation in tall buildings. In the tall buildings, we have the efficiency limitation, or the most importantly, I call it the sustainability limitation.